What are you doing while waiting to die? Think about it carefully, not in passing, not as a dark joke, not as a line of poetry, but as the most unavoidable, most piercing truth of your existence. You're dying, right now, not in some vague, distant future, but in this very moment. With every breath, with every tick of the clock, with every cell in your body quietly failing, death is approaching you with patient certainty. We live as if death is elsewhere, as if it only happens to others. We whisper about it, we wrap it in rituals, we cover it in flowers, we disguise it in euphemisms. But the truth is simple. Death is the surest thing you will ever have. Everything else, wealth, power, love, ambition, hope, can vanish. But death is loyal. It waits for you like a shadow that never leaves, like a promise sealed into the marrow of your bones. So let me ask again, what are you doing while waiting to die? Every human being who has ever lived has shared this one certainty. Kings and slaves, prophets and tyrants, lovers and murderers, all march toward the same horizon. The pyramids of Egypt, the catacombs of Rome, the tombs of China's emperors, the gravestones in your own neighborhood, all whisper the same story. We were once here. We're gone now, and soon you will join us. Philosophy begins here. Philosophy is not born from idle curiosity, but from this confrontation. Death is the question that shapes all others. What is the meaning of life if it ends? What is justice if we are dust? What is love if the beloved vanishes? Religion, too, is built on this question. Every faith, every ritual, every myth seeks to soften or explain the terrifying fact that the people we love and we ourselves will perish. To live is to die in slow motion. And so humanity, from its earliest days, has asked, how should we face this? Should we fear it? Should we embrace it? Should we deny it? Perhaps the boldest answer in the history of philosophy comes from Socrates, the man who drank the hemlock. When sentenced to death by the city of Athens, Socrates did not tremble. He did not beg. Instead, he offered an astonishing meditation. To fear death, gentlemen, is nothing other than to think oneself wise when one is not. For it is to think that one knows what one does not know. For no one knows whether death may not be the greatest of all blessings for a man. Yet men fear it as if they knew that it is the greatest of evils. In other words, to fear death is to claim knowledge we do not possess. For who among us can say with certainty what lies beyond it? Socrates considered two possibilities. Either death is nothing, a deep, dreamless sleep, or it is something, a journey to another place where souls continue. If it is nothing, then why fear it? For who complains a night of perfect, undisturbed rest? If it is something, then why not welcome it? For what greater adventure could there be than to meet the souls of the past, to question Achilles, to debate with Homer, to learn from the wise? For Socrates, death was not an end, but a doorway. And courage, he taught, was born not from bravado, but from wisdom, from knowing the limits of what we know and stepping into the unknown without trembling. Socrates' student Plato went further. For Plato, the body is a prison, and death is its release. He imagined the soul as eternal, imprisoned temporarily in flesh, yearning to return to the realm of truth and forms. In his dialogue Phaedo, Plato portrays Socrates on the last day of his life. Socrates comforts his friends by saying that philosophy itself is nothing but a preparation for death. To philosophize is to learn how to die, to loosen our attachment to the body, to material pleasures, to illusions, so that when the moment comes, the soul may rise unchained and return home. Here, death becomes not an enemy, but a liberation. The philosopher, unlike the ordinary man, does not cling to the body in terror, but welcomes death as a friend. And yet, Plato's vision also plants the seed of unease. If the soul survives, then what becomes of it? Judgment? Reward? Punishment? Reincarnation? Even here, comfort and dread walk hand in hand. Where Plato turned death into transcendence, Epicurus turned it into nothingness. Epicurus taught that death is not to be feared, because when we exist, death is not present, and when death is present, we no longer exist. Fear arises from the idea that we will experience death. But death, by definition, is the absence of experience. There is no you to suffer death, because the you is already dissolved. Why then do we tremble? Because we imagine death in the wrong way. We project ourselves into it, picturing ourselves conscious inside the coffin, aware of our decay, mourning our own absence. But this is impossible. Death erases the very witness. For Epicurus, the wise person learns to see death as nothing. And in this way, he frees himself from the greatest anxiety that haunts human life. And yet, can we really believe him? Is it so easy to let go? The Stoics, too, confronted death head-on. They carved into their philosophy a daily reminder. Memento Mori, remember that you must die. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor philosopher, wrote in his private journal, do not act as if you're going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. For the Stoics, death was not an abstraction, but a compass. Knowing that life is fragile, fleeting, temporary, they urged us to live with virtue, with justice, with courage, to waste no time on trivialities, to align our lives with reason and nature. Seneca, another Stoic, put it even more sharply. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Life is long enough if we use it well. To the Stoics, death is not to be feared, but to be used as a reminder to sharpen our lives, to awaken us from distraction, to press us into what matters. Centuries later, Michel de Montaigne, the French essayist, would echo Plato and the Stoics with a line that has become immortal. To philosophize is to learn how to die. Montaigne knew fear intimately. He wrote of his own panic at the thought of death, the way it haunted his mind. But instead of fleeing, he turned toward it, studied it, befriended it. He discovered that by rehearsing death in thought, he could weaken its sting in reality. By imagining himself already dead, he could live more freely. He who has learned how to die has unlearned how to be a slave, Montaigne said, because death is the master fear, and once you break it, nothing can dominate you. And yet, Montaigne also confessed something very human. No matter how much philosophy we swallow, when death finally comes, we will still tremble. The body resists what the mind accepts. We are, after all, animals who cling to life. So here we are, between Socrates' calm, Plato's promise, Epicurus' dismissal, the Stoics' reminder, and Montaigne's rehearsal. We see the first great circle of human thought around death. All of them different, all of them echoing the same truth. Death is unavoidable, but how we face it is ours to decide. Some say it is nothing, others say it is everything. Some call it liberation, others call illusion. But in each case, death is a mirror, showing us what we truly believe about life. And so, we return to the opening question. What are you doing while waiting to die? Do you distract yourself? Do you prepare yourself? Do you rebel against it? Do you deny it? Do you waste the only time you have, the fragile, fleeting present, in fear of what you cannot escape? Part 2 will take us beyond the West, to the East, to the Buddhists, the Hindus, the Taoists, the Zen masters, to see how they too have stared into the abyss and what they found there. But for now, sit with this truth. Death is the surest thing you will ever have.